Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm a couple of minutes, well, actually now I'm 1 minute early. I'm working from home today. I'm packing for my cruise. So I'm running in different directions this morning. But I'm so super excited to go through this book with you. For those of you who have bought the book and are reading it with me, for those of you who haven't, I still think you will get a lot out of this. And should you choose to order the book, you have plenty of time. Should you choose not to order the book, just follow along with us as we discuss this. So I'll kind of stall for a minute to give everybody who says, you said you weren't going to start till 9. Well, it is now 9. I posted this morning. I'm super excited. I was down in my weight, so I was thrilled that apparently my body decided to cooperate with me this past week. And so that's always fun. I know it doesn't happen every week, and that's okay. Because it's a journey, and that's the point of this book, is figuring out what we are supposed to learn on this journey. Good morning, Robin. Thank you so very much. That's so sweet. I feel frazzled this morning. I'm literally, y'all, if I showed you, I have suitcases all over my bedroom floor because I'm packing for my husband and for me. We are supposed to leave this afternoon to drive to Galveston, Texas, which is the southern border of Texas, and I'm close to the northern. And then tomorrow morning we board a ship to sail through the Gulf of Mexico, and there's a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. I looked a little while ago, and it looks like it's maybe diminishing a little bit in power, and it's going to, so they say, it's going to make landfall either this afternoon or early tomorrow morning. So I'm hoping that we have avoided any problems with that. Thank you, Paula. I appreciate that so much. Okay, let's get started talking about this book. Y'all, I started reading this quite some time ago, and then have you ever read a book that was so gripping that you almost couldn't read it? Like I would read. I'm an avid reader. Once I start a book, I will read it in a day or two, because I love to read, and I'm my husband says I'm a fast reader. I don't know. This book hit me so close to home that I had to take it in small bites, because I had to read it and then chew on it, think about it, pray about it, come back and read some of it again, thinking, man, was that as deep and personal as I thought it was? And so then I finally just put it aside. I think I just wasn't ready for all of the truth. Now, so I'll be honest with you, I have not read the entire book. I don't normally recommend books that I haven't read, because I'm very concerned that there might be, something in there that goes against my core values. And so I don't ever want somebody to say, wow, I can't believe she recommended that, So, but we're going to find out together. And I'll be honest with you, if there are things in here as we get deeper into the book that contradict my personal beliefs, I'll share that with you. But I still think there's so much that we can learn from this. And so if you're going to go through this with me, what I would like for you to do is I'm going to share what I got out of chapter 1, the things that I underlined and highlighted, and that I want you to share what you got out of it in the comments, and then we will keep this pinned, this thread pinned at the top of the group for this entire week, so that we can rehash and continue to discuss and glean from each other, and also so that those who weren't able to join us live can get something out of it too. And then I'm going to go back and read the comments several times, because I want to keep up with what everyone is adding. And then I get back from my cruise next Thursday evening, and I leave next Friday morning for a quilt retreat, but I'll do this before I leave. Now, it may have to be early next week, because I don't know what time I have to leave for the quilt retreat, but I'll get it done. Or I could do it later in the day once I get to the retreat. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I can't do that today. I'll figure it out. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna try. Y'all, this may be long, and I apologize, but this is so good. Carol says, the question, "What are you afraid of?" really was tough. I had to sleep on it, and boy, did I have a lot of reflecting to do. Carol, I'm curious to know what answer you came up with, because that one was a hard one for me. And I'll tell you what. My first thought was, I'm not afraid of anything. And then I thought, yes, I am. I'm afraid of staying at this weight. And then I thought, no, that's not what I'm afraid of. So after much soul searching, much praying about it, much having to get brutally honest with myself, here's what I'm afraid of. And this may or may not resonate with you, may or may not make sense. When I started this group several years ago, I was close to goal. I was working towards becoming a Weight Watchers coach, and all I needed to do was get to goal to do that, and I was super excited about it. But I was so yearning for like-minded people who were on the journey, who, I'm just being real, on Connect and the other Facebook groups I was on. I felt like there wasn't very many people my age. Most of them were younger, and they, were raising their children, and I'd read their posts and I would think that, I get it, but that's not me. That's not where I am. So I wanted to start a group that was people more my age, more, going through the same things in life that I was going through. So this group became so successful overnight. And I didn't expect to become, well, I had no intention of doing these videos. I didn't expect to become so visible, if that makes sense. So I have to be honest with you. My fear is I will not be able to get the weight back off, and I will disappoint other people. I've already disappointed myself. I've accepted that. But that's my fear, because I hate disappointing people. But I'm not going to let that happen. And here's the thing that we're going to learn in this book. If we take the journey without learning something, we're going to have to repeat the journey. If we take the journey and we learn along the way, we won't have to repeat that again, because we've learned from it. If we learn from it, we can change. If we don't learn, we'll never change. We'll keep doing the same things over and over that have caused us problems all along. Okay? So, page, I should have got my readers. I think we're starting on 43, which, I don't know, Jules, I'm sorry. Is everybody else having the live feed cut in and out. I don't understand what's happening. Maybe it's my internet, but I'm so sorry. Page 43 starts chapter 1. So I'm just going to go through chapter 1 and tell you the things that I underlined, highlighted, wrote notes to myself in the margin, and it started right off the bat. On page 43, she says, typically when we aren't getting results, we think the only option is to fight harder and for longer. And here's what I wrote. Or eat less. Is that maybe just me? Because for years I have told myself, if I'm not losing weight, I need to eat less. I need to work out more and I need to eat less. I proved to myself this last week that that isn't true. I ate more this week than I did the week before, and I lost 2.5 pounds this week. I think we have convinced ourselves that the only way we're going to lose weight is to deprive, starve, and over-exercise. And that's one thing. If we were making a list of the things we need to learn on this journey, I think that needs to be number 1. It isn't about eating less. It's about eating different. Okay? That's the first thing I wrote down. Then on the next page, I underlined where she said, here's what I need you to know. The way things have been is not the way they have to continue to be. That's the second thing we need to learn. The way we've been doing it doesn't have to be the way we keep doing it. And you know why I think that's true? If the way we've been doing it worked so well, why are we still having to do it? Why do you think it is that so many people, I wish I knew the statistics for this. Why do you think it is that so many of us and so many people in general have come back to Weight Watchers time and time and time again, even after reaching goal or even after losing a significant amount of weight? We lose it, we stop, we gain it back, we rejoin. Why do you think that is? I think there's so many possible reasons, but the answer is in that sentence. The way things have been is not the way they have to continue to be. If the way we were doing it was so good, we wouldn't be having to do it again. Make sense? Okay, then moving on down, I'm going to try to move through this fairly fast because what I'm really wanting is the discussion in the comments to be our ongoing talk this week. I don't want this to be, I'm just going to quickly share with you what I gleaned out of it, and then we're just going to learn from each other. Okay. Without a doubt, one of the worst feelings in the world is letting yourself down. Agree? Nobody could argue that stepping on that scale and seeing the number going back up is one of the worst feelings in the world. And literally, when you step on the scale and realize, and I've been there, I know you've been there. Okay, this number that I'm looking at is the heaviest I've ever been. That feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach when that happens, I don't even know what feels as bad as that. I mean, obviously, there are things in life like the loss of a loved one. We're not comparing that. I'm just talking about our self-esteem bottoms out at that moment. We feel like a failure. We feel fat. We feel broke. We feel ugly. We feel just all the negative things. So I agree with her. That's one of the worst feelings in the world, is letting myself down. Very little is more frustrating than waking up determined to behave differently, only to find yourself right back in a past pattern you swore you wouldn't choose again. Anybody else highlight that? I highlighted it. I underlined it. I drew arrows to it. Oh my word, if I had $1 for every time I've said, this is it. I'm not doing that again. I'm changing it starting tomorrow or Monday, but I'm not going to do that again. And then find myself right back doing the same things. I put a star beside, these are all hallmarks of the hard road. That's what we're talking about in this chapter, the hard road. And man, it's hard. It's so hard to find yourself repeating those bad habits. It's so hard to look at that number on the scale and feel like such a failure. It's so hard to go into a store and instead of buying the cute things that you want to be buying, you're looking for clothes that try to camouflage, try to hide the size that we really are. Anybody? That's hard. I don't like that hard road. I don't want to live on that hard road again, ever. Okay, I underlined her sentence on page 45. I'd have done anything to lose weight. Yes, Karen, we do want to disappear. We want to hide. I've tried everything to lose weight, y'all. I've tried every diet. I've tried diet pills. I took HCG. I did intermittent fasting. I did starvation. I became borderline eating disorder. I found years ago through my nail technician a supplement that she was buying at the health food store that so totally took away your appetite. I was taking that all day long and eating 300 or 400 calories a day. I've tried everything and I was willing to try it. If somebody mentioned that they lost weight on XYZ, I was ready to whip out my credit card and buy XYZ. I didn't care if it was dangerous for me, if it would help me lose weight, sign me up. I'm embarrassed to admit to a lot of that. And if I only knew how much money I have wasted in my adult life on things like that, pitiful. Okay. And then she goes on to say, she says, I'd have done anything to lose the weight. The next sentence, I circled it, drew arrows to it, except it seemed the work required. I wanted a fast fix. I wanted an easy fix. I wanted a way to lose weight that didn't require me to be accountable, to be disciplined, and to accept that I may not be able to sit down at the Mexican food restaurant, order the enchilada plate smothered in chili and cheese, and eat 2 baskets of chips while I'm waiting on that food, and then go out for ice cream afterwards and still lose or maintain my weight. I didn't want that. That was the hard. I wanted the easy. I wanted the pill that I could take and do all of those things and still lose weight. Doesn't exist. Okay. And then she talks about eating Hostess cupcakes and Mexican food and ice cream, all the while, raise your hand if this is you, all the while vowing to do better tomorrow and meaning it and believing it. How many times did I tell myself that? And when I said it, I meant it. I really meant starting tomorrow, I'm going to do ABC. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to totally change Starting tomorrow, I'm not going to do this anymore. I meant it, and I really believed myself when I said it. This pattern repeated itself for years. This is the author talking, and good Lord, does that not describe me? But more accurately, she says, I kept creating the pattern day after day, excuse after excuse, wanting a life so different from the one I was choosing. Did you catch that? Wanted a life so different from the one I was choosing. Future, present, future, not past. She didn't say, I wanted a life so different from the one I had been choosing. I used to tell myself that y'all, literally, I'm going to show you this. This sentence, do you see where I wrote OMG? I used to tell myself that I'd just, quote, get it out of my system, close quote. Millions of times I have decided, okay, so I ordered this is just one of the many stupid things I've done in my life. I ordered the, what's that stuff called? The program with the protein shakes and the snack bars and all that. Can't think of the name of it. It'll come to me later. And it's come in, it's Thursday. And so, I want to start fresh on it on Monday. Cause I believe that once I start on this, man, the weight's just going to fall off. Cause I'm going to be so disciplined that within Optavia, thank you, Connie, that within, 3 months, I'm going to be skinny and it's going to be easy. But I know that during those 3 months, I'm going to be so disciplined, I'm not going to eat anything that's not on plan. I'm going to be super disciplined. So this is Thursday. Between now and Monday, I'm just going to go eat all of the things that I love to eat and get it out of my system. I've said those words so many times. And you know what? I believed it. I really believed I would do it. Really? Okay. And then I underlined in the very top of the next page, it has never worked. Never. It has never worked. It will never work. That is not a sustainable lifestyle. It's not a healthy lifestyle. And telling ourselves that and believing it isn't going to make it reality. It has never worked. Okay, moving on. She says in the next chapter, I had to stop living in a cycle of continuous deferment. Tomorrow, Monday, but never today. Why not today? Here's what I wrote down on this chapter. I love to watch those shows like My 600 Pound Life. I don't know why. I'm fascinated with the show, and so I watch it all the time. I'm just being real, okay? Y'all know me. I always have this conversation with the TV. So the person goes in to meet the doctor for the first time, and the show has shown, and I'm sure it's all scripted and, reality TV, whatever. The show shows them eating these insane amounts of really bad food leading up to that doctor's appointment. And they go in and they tell the doctor, I'll do whatever it takes. I know that I'm going to die if I don't lose this weight. So, I'm going to eat. I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do, doc. You give me the plan and I'm going to do it. And so he gives them this little handout and he says, I'm going to put you on a restrictive, I think it's usually 1,200 calories, very low carb diet. And by the time I see you in 3 months, I want you to have lost this much weight. And they say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I think they really mean it. I think they really believe it. That's their Optavia moment. And yet they leave the doctor's office and they tell the person who drove them there, I've seen this more times than I can count, I want to go have one last meal before I start that diet. And I get so frustrated at them. I talk back to the TV and I say, what are you doing? This doctor is giving you this opportunity. Don't do one last meal. Make the meal you had before you came that one last meal. Start right now. But I do that too. I do that too. And I believe myself when I say it. I don't know why. Because I've proven time and time and time again that it doesn't work. That doesn't work. Okay, next page. She says, I love this. I was in an unconscious, unexamined, and unsuccessful habit of valuing intensity over consistency. Now, what do you think she means by that? Intensity over consistency. I think that's where we get into that. I'll just eat less sporadically. I'll eat really low calorie, really low point Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'll go completely. Yes, we're still on chapter 1. We're only going to do chapter 1 today. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I'll go off the rails and eat everything. And then I'll start over on Monday. Repeat. Really low point, really restrictive, not going to let myself have anything I enjoy. I'm on page 47. Not going to have anything I really enjoy. I'm going to be super, super, super disciplined Monday through Friday. Then Saturday and Sunday, I fall off the rails and I eat all the things I said I wasn't going to eat. That's intensity over consistency. Bottom of page 47. I love this and I underlined it, highlighted it. I had to get honest about what didn't work, and you do too. It's time to get honest about what hasn't worked, and if it hasn't worked repeatedly, it's not going to work. I remember a quote, and I'm thinking it was a Dr. Phil quote. I may be wrong. But he said, when people show you who they are, believe them. You ever known someone that their repeated pattern of behavior shows you their true character, and you tell yourself, you know, I'm not really going to trust you in that area of my life because you've shown me a pattern that I can't trust? We've done that to ourselves. We have to get honest with ourselves about what doesn't work, what hasn't worked, and let's learn from that and change the future instead of trying to repeat the past. Page 48 is really good, but I love the top of page 49. We're getting off that crazy train right now. Right now. Park the train, let me off, I'm done. Right now, not tomorrow, not Monday, not tonight, but right now. This meal, this very next meal, can be the beginning of changing this insane journey of weight loss that we have lived on for way too long. It doesn't have to be this hard. We just have to stop repeating the same mistakes over and over and over and expecting it to suddenly, magically, now it's going to work. I remember one time, my husband is an engineer, and so he's a fixer of things, but he also, when he fixes it, he wants to explain to me what was wrong with it and what it took to fix it. I really don't care. I just want it fixed. You know, that's also over my head and I don't get it anyway. But we had a drawer in our kitchen that was, you know, they're on those rails, and so they should slide easily. Well, for some reason, this drawer, I was trying to open it and it would only come out a little ways. It was that drawer in the kitchen where all of the spoons and spatulas and that kind of thing, you know, went. Okay, so I have my mother's old potato masher. Well, I kept it in that drawer, except it really didn't fit in that drawer. If it was just right, the door would open and close. But if it got moved at all, well, so I was cooking dinner and I went to open that drawer and it wouldn't open. And I'm doing this, you know, pulling on it. And he hears me. And he comes in there and he said, babe, there's something wedged in there. You got to fix that before the door's going to open. And so he took the drawer apart, you know, figured it, got it out, and he pulls the potato masher out. And he said, here's your problem. And I said, I know it does that all the time. And he said, well, then why do you keep putting it in there? And I said, because I want it in that drawer. I want it in that drawer. And if I do it just right, the drawer will work. And he said, wouldn't it just be easier to keep that somewhere else? And then you don't have to keep fighting this drawer all the time. I mean, in his engineering mind, it was so simple. But in my mind, I'm thinking, but I want it in that drawer. I want to keep it in that drawer and it still work. Okay, here's how this fits. I like snacks. I know if I eat them, I'm not going to lose weight if I eat them in excess. I can fit them into my plan as long as I do it just right. But if anything gets off, it throws the balance of my day off and I'm not going to lose weight. So rather than removing the snacks and only having access to them on occasion when I need them, then my day runs smoothly. But I don't want that. I want to be able to have them in here and have this very precarious balance that if anything upsets my day, everything comes crashing down. And what happens when it comes crashing down? That's when we fall off the wagon, start looking for that next quick fix, and we're right back at, I got to get it all out of my system before Monday. Whereas if we would just take the problem out of the drawer and set it aside, we don't have to throw it away. I didn't have to throw the potato masher away. I just had to take it out of the drawer that it didn't really fit in. I still use it. Every time I make mashed potatoes, I use that potato masher. But I don't keep it in the drawer anymore because it's not a daily need. It's a special occasion need. That's what I'm going to learn on this journey, is how to find the problems in my life and move them out of the drawer and set them aside so that I have access to them on special occasions, but they're not in my daily drawer jamming it. Moving on to, she talks about the hallmarks of the hard road, and those are so good. And then the hallmarks of the easier road, and I strongly encourage you to dwell on those. But getting over to page 51, because I got to keep moving, I'm talking way too long. on page 51 at the top, there's absolutely nothing keeping you chained to the hard road except you. We're the only ones. We're the only ones doing this to ourselves. White knuckles are red flags. So true. More strict means less sustainable. Hands down. Then moving on to page 52, I underlined this and I hope you did too. When you're fighting against yourself, you always lose. Isn't that amazing? When we fight against ourselves, we always lose. We've got to be on the same team with ourselves. We're not opponents. This isn't a war against ourselves. We've got to be our own advocate. We're doing this work for ourselves. I love this chapter, this paragraph, and I want to read it. It's on page 53 towards the bottom. Forget the intense, all-in, white-knuckle, willpower lifestyle overhaul you've been considering or wrestling with. Let go of the worry about how you'll stay on track next weekend. I've got a cruise in a few hours. Instead, choose to be intentional about the progress you're committing to each day. I'm going into this cruise knowing I'm going to be surrounded by buffets and food. The old mindset would have been, I'm not going to eat any of it. I'm going to be super duper uber strict. I'm not going to indulge on anything, and blah, 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 blah. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. I've tried that before. Doesn't work. So I'm not doing that to myself this time. What I am doing is I've had a conversation with myself and with the friends that we're going with. Breakfast is not a super indulgent meal for me. I love sitting down at breakfast, having, quiet time, having my coffee, having conversation. So breakfast, I'm going to eat what I would normally eat, either eggs and toast and or oatmeal and fruit. And I'll be fine. Breakfast is fine. The boat, I've already looked, has a stir fry place. They have salad bars. And so I'm going to enjoy lunch, but I'm not going to overindulge at lunch. I'm going to walk several times a day. I packed my tennis shoes. I packed my walking clothes. I'm going to be tracking. I'm going to get in lots of steps. Dinner, I'm going to have a salad. I'm not going to eat the basket of bread because that's just empty calories. I'm going to have a healthy dinner so that I can give myself permission to enjoy dessert every night. Why? Because I don't eat those kind of desserts on a regular basis. I love creme brulee. I never order creme brulee at a restaurant, and I certainly don't make it at home. So the night they have creme brulee, I'm going to enjoy it. I want it to be a livable lifestyle. I don't want it to be about restriction. Here's the last thing I want to share with you out of this chapter, and then I'm going to let you go because I've talked way too long. But I'm going to go back and read your comments. I'm so anxious to read what all you have to say. She says, when you feel unfocused and overwhelmed, take a look at the mental models characteristic of the hard road and the easy road and challenge yourself to just make one choice from the perspective of the easier road. Here's what I want you to get. You are always just a few great choices away from feeling better, building momentum, and creating the change you crave. Just a few choices away. That's it. It's that easy. Just a few choices today. And then tomorrow, make another few good choices. And the next day, make another few good choices. And eventually, the good choices are habit and the bad choices are history. Does it mean we'll never make a bad choice? No. But they won't be consistent. They won't be the norm. They won't be our downfall. Is having creme brulee at dinner a bad choice? I don't think so. Could I make a better choice? Yeah. But having creme brulee at dinner, if I see that it's going to derail me for the next day, then I'm not going to have it. That's my plan. I'll let you know next Friday when I get back how it went, but that's my plan. I'm taking my book with me so I can read chapter 2. That was on page 54, which is the last page of chapter 1. Chapter 2 is entitled Spinning Your Wheels. And there's a quote by Gary Keller that starts it, that this quote will tell you what to expect out of this chapter. Sometimes we fail so slowly, we think we are succeeding. Let's think on that one for a week. Sometimes we fail so slowly, we think we are succeeding. I can't wait. I'm anxious to see what this chapter has for us, okay? Have a wonderful week. I don't know how much I'll be online this week. I'll check in if I can, when I can, but at the very least, I will be back on land Thursday. And so while we're driving home from Galveston, I'll get up to speed on everything that's happening. But I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you chew on this chapter and really let it sink in. And let's make this work. Let's make this our last trip through this little valley. Okay? All right. I love you all, and I will see you on the board. Bye, everyone.